Are you looking through all these surge protector options and not sure which one's best for your RV, or if you even need one at all? In this video, I'll go over things to look for when selecting a surge protector, explain how they work, and tell you why I chose the one I did for upgrading our RV. Like you, when I bought our RV, I knew I needed a surge protector, and I just picked one of these off the shelf at the RV dealer. I checked that box as I got that piece, we're good to go. And since then, I ran into many different situations at campgrounds regarding electricity. I've had times where the power has gone too high, too low, the circuit breakers are bad at the pedestal, and many other things that can go wrong that I did not think were going to be an issue. And with that, I did a lot of research on surge protectors and the differences between them and what they do. So now I'm going to upgrade from the one that I had to the one I'm going to install. And make sure you stay to the end of the video. I'm going to share an add-on feature with a new surge protector, which will also solve some other RV issues we're trying to take care of. To start off, let's explain why you need a surge protector. Surges can come in many different forms. It can be a storm or lightning hits nearby and you have massive power comes through the area and it can cause major problems, as you might be aware of with the sticks and bricks situation. Or a car might hit a pole nearby and then the wires touch and then you have a big surge of power comes through. Or the utility company is working on the power in the area and they're turning the transformer on and off, or they're doing different weird things where your power is going on and off. When your power is not steady and all those weird things are happening, you can have a surge of power that comes, which provides a lot more electricity than is supposed to be naturally coming. And that surge of power comes in, it can fry the electronics inside of your microwave, your fridges, your other appliances inside of the RV. When that happens, it not only costs a lot of money to fix those items inside the RV, you have to wait for someone to repair them or parts to come in. You might have to call a mobile RV tech to come out and trace down different issues to figure out what parts you need to order and then wait for the parts. Or take it to an RV dealer, and we all are aware that those situations are not very speedy at all. RV dealers are backed up and you're going to be at the back of the line when you bring it in, and then they look at it, then wait for the parts. You can be without your RV for a long period of time. It's not just being without your RV. If you're on a 2-day camping trip and your microwave fries when you're there, and that was your source to cook food and eat lunch, and then you don't have that convenience to use inside your RV. Many reasons you want to make sure your power is protected, even if you're just going camping for a couple days at a time, or you're a full-timer like ourselves. So to prevent a lot of those issues, a surge protector can cost anywhere from $100 up to $600, and it can save you thousands of dollars and lots of headache. As you're selecting a surge protector for your RV, you need to determine what type of wiring your RV has, if it's a 30 amp or 50 amp. A 30 amp RV is usually a smaller RV, typically has one air conditioner, and you can only run 2 appliances at a time, maybe 3. The appliances are your fridge, your microwave, an air fryer, an air conditioner, a hair dryer, things like that draw a lot of power. And on the 30 amp RVs, you're going to have the 3-prong connector coming out of the RV that you plug into the power pedestal. On a 50 amp RV, you can run multiple appliances at one time. You have a lot more power usage. You usually have 2 or 3 air conditioners. And your power plug that comes out of the RV is going to have the 4 prongs on it. That way you can have more power coming into the RV with the extra wire. Let's go over different surge protectors that are out there and how the price point make a difference how each one operates. There's lots of them out there. I don't have a shelf to pick every one for all the options. So we have these 2 that are in front of us. These are examples that I'll give you. So to start off with, this is the one I picked up off the RV dealer shelf. It costs around $120. And you'll see different lights in the front of it that give you indication of what's happening on the power. If everything's all green, it's good. If it has different issues, you'll see it on a chart that's listed on the front. On the WatchDog one, this one is around a $300 unit. If you have issues with the power, this face in the front of it will go from white to red. You'll see a little number here on the front of it that'll give you a error code, and the side of the unit, it tells you what the error code means. Now you don't know what all that stuff means at this point, so we're going to talk a little more detail about what each one does so you can see the differences and why the price points are much different from one to the other. And let's go back to the cheap one and talk about the lights in the front of it. Now if you plug this into the pedestal at the campground power, you'll see lights that'll come on the front. There'll be different variations of reds and greens, depends on what situation of the power is. If they're all green, you plug into your RV, that's great and it's working. But things can change, and this will not inform you about any issues that are going on with your power situation. It'll keep sending power to your RV, whatever the bad situation is, and things could be frying inside your RV when you're gone touring around the area that you're in. Now let's go back to the WatchDog. If we have a power situation, it's going to turn from red to white on the front. You'll see a code that'll come on the front, and you'll be able to know what the power issue is. But unlike the cheap one, if you're gone and there's a power situation, the WatchDog is going to shut off power to your RV until the power comes back on to a stable state, and then it turns power back on to your RV, protecting your RV while you don't even know things are happening. Now going back to the cheap one more time, this is only a surge protector. It will not protect your RV against high or low voltage situations. What happens in high or low voltage situations is usually in the middle of summer, everyone's running their air conditioners, the power system at the campground is very strained, and the power starts going down and down and down in voltage. Once you get to a certain voltage, it becomes a brownout situation. In electronics inside your RV, your microwave, your fridge, and many other sensitive things that you have, those will have issues and they'll fry and they'll die. Now, if you had the WatchDog in that situation, this protects you against high and low voltage, and just like if you had a surge or other issues in your power, it shuts off the power and protects your RV during those odd situations. The last difference we're going to talk about between different surge protectors is the hardwired versus the inline style. The cheap one I have here is an inline style. What that means, it has a plug that plugs into the pedestal at the campground power, and a plug from your RV plugs into the surge protector. It goes inline in that power. The pros of this style is you can order one, you can plug it in, and away you go. Also, if you had a surge and this is the style you had and it was junk, you can throw it out and replace it to get a new one. Now, the bad part about these being outside is they're exposed to the weather. They're also exposed to someone possibly stealing them. They do come with little rings on the power cord, you can secure them. But it's also one more thing you have to hook up every time you set up camp. Now, looking at the WatchDog, this is a hardwired style. The benefit about that, it goes inside the basement, it's protected from the weather, it's also protected from people possibly stealing it, and it has one less thing to hook up every time you go to a campsite. Now, the downfall of having this in the basement is it needs to be hardwired into your RV's electrical system. So if you're going to do that yourself, you need to be mechanically inclined and comfortable with electricity. If you're not doing it yourself, you're going to have to pay a mobile RV tech or take it to an RV dealer and pay them to do it. And now you can see the differences. It's all your preference which one you want to use. This thing will work the same way whether it's hardwired in the basement or it's inline outside on the RV pedestal. If you didn't know, we make educational videos for RVers. If you want to subscribe and see more videos like this, click down below and the subscribe button. Now I'm going to talk about why I chose a Power WatchDog model. This WatchDog is a PWD 50 EPO-H. That's a lot of words, I'll explain it to you. What the PWD is Power WatchDog, the 50 is 50 amp, EPO is emergency power off or auto shut off, and H is for hardwired version. Now if you're looking to get your own WatchDog, you know how to read the model numbers when you're going through the list of options. The benefits of why I want the WatchDog compared to the cheap one I had before is this will protect my RV electrical system in all those odd power situations. I had a surge recently, it happened in the middle of the night. It affected my washer and dryer, the little surge protector model inside of that. I don't know what really happened with the power because my surge protector just let everything go through whatever the issues were. But if I would have had the WatchDog during that time frame, it would have shut off the power, protected my washing machine, I wouldn't have had to fix it. But if you had that situation, you can check out the video of fixing that washer either up here or down in the description. And the part to fix that washing machine cost me $60 and my time to fix it. If I would have had a WatchDog beforehand, it would save me some time and money. As you can see, the cost of the more expensive surge protector will pay for itself in the long run. All those little fixes you have with a surge protector doesn't protect you with all the odd situations. Also, the money that you can save with a surge protector, that you can replace a module if I have a surge. It'll save me lots of money without having to buy a whole new surge protector and the hassle of having to order one, wait for the parts, and be down without power during that time frame. I really like that the WatchDog shuts down all those weird power situations. Like for instance, we were in a campground, we had to move from one site to the other. I always check the pedestal to make sure that the power is right. I have 120 volts on each side of my 50 amp plug, my grounds and neutrals, everything is correct. But what happened when I was checking on the power, I noticed that one of the legs didn't have power, it wasn't quite right. I plugged a surge protector in without the RV hooked up at this time, and it confirmed when I was reading off my multimeter that one of the legs wasn't quite right. I turned the breaker on and off a couple times to figure out what the exact problem was, and everything came back on and it looked like it was good. I notified the park and they came out. They determined that the circuit breaker inside the pedestal had gotten warm before and it had a loose connection. If I would have plugged in my surge protector to that and had all green lights and walked away, I would have thought the power was good and my power was actually fluctuating, going on and off. I wouldn't have known it. I would have more problems at that campground, where the WatchDog would have caught that, shut off the power, and protected my RV. The thing I'm really excited about with the WatchDog is the remote monitoring. There's an app you can monitor with a Bluetooth to your WatchDog unit to see what the power situation is. If you had a power go out, you can see what the error is at that time frame. You can see how many amps you're drawing, especially if you're on a 30 amp system. You'll know if you're getting close, if you need to turn off an air conditioner to run a microwave or something like that. And if you had a high voltage, low voltage, it'll tell you what the voltage coming through is. And one of the biggest things I like about it, us being full-timers, it'll tell you what your kilowatt usage is over a period of time. So if you're at a campground, you have to pay for electricity, you can verify with your WatchDog from what the campground is telling you to make sure everything lines up correctly. Going along with the benefits for remote monitoring, there's an RV whisper system that is made to work with the power of WatchDog. They're like buddies that work together, not something you have to force to work together, they're made to work together. The benefits of the RV whisper system are not just the power of WatchDog. It can monitor the temperature inside the RV. It can have tank level sensors to see what the actual tank readings are, not going by the gauge that barely works of your black tanks and gray tanks and fresh tanks. It can monitor your propane and a few other things that they have along the way that will really help monitoring a full system inside your RV. You can purchase the RV Whisper system right through Power WatchDog, ship it in the same box so it's easy to get started with it. So once we play with it more and see how it works, we'll make a review video on that, and we'll link it up here and down in the description as well. If you're looking to get the WatchDog Surge Protector, they have many models to choose from. If you're interested in one of the same features I mentioned, make sure you get one with the EPO for the auto shutoff. We're going to install this hardwired version next, so if you want to see that video and how we did it, you can check this video out. After I placed the order, the WatchDog sent me a referral code. We'll place the information for that down below. You can receive a discount if you're ordering a WatchDog. We'll also have the information to the videos and links we talked about in the products in the description down below as well. If you are new to RVing, you want to check out our playlist for more educational videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.